Attention protection team. Status evasion programming in this community. Response. ISO inquire.
What to do today? What to do?
Joe, this is your supercomputer speaking to you.
Huh?
It is time for you to do episode 3.
Aha! I knew there was something we had to do today. Well, what are the profiles?
According to my calculations, because I'm a computer, the next guests are Base4 and Mustard.
Okay. We can do this, We just have to start getting home and start editing. And done. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna go get a snack. A vegan snack.
My name is Jordan Dell. You guys probably just know me as Jordan on Brickadia or Mustard on Discord if you guys see me posting on there. But been playing Brickadia for a while, and I built this map called Shotgun City. And love to show you guys around. If you just want to go ahead and follow me, let's jump right into it. First off, if you just want to fly up into the air, just kind of have a down view of the map. So where we were first standing over by these flying guys right here, I like to call them rhinos because they have the front of a rhino. This is where the SWAT team or the good guys kind of spawn. And then on the other side of the map, kind of this way, we have a crashed bus over here that was hijacked. And this is where the bad guys, kind of terrorists, come from. They spawn over here. So whether you're playing team deathmatch or capture the flag to search and destroy, we kind of have that theme. Most of the map kind of takes place as a linear, just kind of right in the middle. This is kind of the main hub. You have a side, which is over here by our great boba world over here. We got a sushi place right in here. Kind of a bar area, plays some noises, and a fish tank. We got an upstairs. And this is where they showcase cars. It's kind of a split building for some reason. Half car sales, half sushi restaurant. So the lights are off. It's kind of after hours, but we got a bomb right here. Kind of used the inspiration from the game Rainbow Six Siege. So if you recognize that bomb, props to you. Some distressed cubicles over here. We have a exit point where a kind of a glass has been broken, so you could get right here. But watch out, the second that you step out right there, you are free game to this other broken glass right here. And that is where you find the sniper, kind of right there. So I have a thing, no matter where you are, there is no camping spot. So right above your head is an air vent that someone could come and kill you. And that goes throughout the whole map. This goes into the concert hall right there. On the upstairs deck. This one goes to the main lobby. And if you want to come down here, this one kind of comes around. Kind of showing this in a really weird way. But then we have one that goes over by the bar area. And this goes backstage to the loading dock. So no matter where you are in the map, you could get around and flank people. So this is the concert hall. This is B side. We got our bomb right there. Any type of game mode, I would love. Team deathmatch, search and destroy, capture the flag. King of the Hill. Anything that you could probably think of. VIP. Or honestly, you could play hide and seek in it. It's a pretty good sized map. So my inspiration for this map, I've always been obsessed with like sci-fi and stuff. So one day I was making. If you want to follow me real quick. If you want to. I was making Star Wars. I went online and looked up old like Lego sets and was building Star Wars stuff, and then I kind of branched off and made this guy right here. So then I was like, oh man, I kind of want to showcase this, take a picture of it. This is before microbricks. I mean, I did go in and microbrick it up a little bit, but I made just this little platform right here, and then it branched off into a tree right there, and then for some reason I built some stairs, and then it just kept going and going, and then I built the sushi bar, and I was like, okay, well, it's turning into a map. But it all started with just me building this tiny little ship right there, and kind of wanting to showcase it on a little platform, and then boom, I just kept picking at it. I started off at the attacker side, which is the good guy team. Just after making that little plane, made the strip all the way down, and then I was modeling another thing where I wanted a sci-fi road, and I decided to put it in this map, and I just put it right next to this, and it started to come together, and I thought, oh man, that would be cool if this was up in the air. So I copied it, posted it way up on top of the air, or on top of a skyscraper, and things just kept coming together. So I really just started in one corner and then just kept going through. But the second I did find out it was turning into a map, I always thought to myself, if I make something like a building, I always have to make a bunch of ways to get in there. I don't like camping. I want to take camping away, so no matter where you go, there's no camping spots. Then we got a bar area. I'm thinking of adding a little bit more detail. Maybe some trash on the floor, because I feel like something did just happen out of nowhere, like this bus came through, so I kind of want to fit the story. It's a little too clean. So I'll probably add some detail touches up here. The next map I'm going to be working on is going to be a little play off of this one. I think I might do it on the very top of this skyscraper, or the skyscraper across the street. So I do want an Easter egg. If you look through the window, you can see Shotgun City from, the window. 626,708. That's actually not too bad. I've seen a lot more. Wow. I wanted this room for a while, and I'm like, I don't know where to put it in, but I found a little spot for it. Man, when did I start? It's probably been like 4 or 5 months ago. I was kind of on and off about it. Right as... Honestly, I think I started it the day of microbricks. Yeah, because right as microbricks started, I wanted to build the little base for that starship outside. But yeah, this is the secret room. If you happen to find it, then yeah, you could get this the sci-fi gun. There are some assets that I used, but most of the stuff is mine. The only assets that I think I have are the buildings in the background. I intend on changing it still, but I was like, man, I need some skyscrapers in the background just to have the aesthetic of it being in a city. So I still intend on making background stuff. Me and my friend love listening to like sci-fi-esque music, like kind of, I wouldn't say like too dubsteppy, but kind of like sci-fi. So that's kind of what we were just kind of listening to that, and while making another sci-fi map that didn't really go anywhere. So I was like, well, I'm gonna kind of make my own, and he made his own, which is phenomenal. You gotta check out his. He stayed true to the Lego. My buddy Jake, was a big fan of Blockland. I never played it growing up. I never had a computer until last year, but yeah, he got me onto this game. I don't know, it was very, very, very early. I played most of my building games on Xbox. Like I loved either playing Halo or my favorite is playing on Far Cry, because you get the Unreal Engine to play around with. So I was constantly making super cool stuff on the Far Cry engine and just kind of going through there. I would make sci-fi stuff, as you can see, because the other maps I'm going to show you are also sci-fi. I like to make my maps have a lot of playability, where you could have a bunch of different game modes on. Look through this window. There's the sausage! I did not know what I was doing with this map. I was just kind of adding things day by day. But when microbricks came out, I was so happy. So I was happy about it, but at the same time, I was kind of like, Whoa, micro bricks? I did not see that coming. I was thinking of it being more of a Lego game, but honestly, as you can see, I'm very happy because I was able to build some detailed stuff here. But yeah, I religiously played like every day, just working on this map. And once I kind of finished it, I took a couple months off. Then I started building more maps on the side and my buddy could port forward, so we'd play this map a bit and test it out. But yeah, I pretty much, it probably took me around 2 months to build this, I'd say, in all. Just kind of, or I mean, if you put all the days together, probably, because I'd stay up like all day long and like all night just building. I got lost in the sauce. So this one I made immediately after I finished Shotgun City. Area 51 map called First Encounter. I want it to be a tug of war between the alien side and the human side. So there's a giant portal right in the middle of the map. And so aliens are going to be pushing from that side, and humans are going to be pushing from this side. There are going to be other portals to go through, so it's not just a one-way thing. But yeah, you could just run right on through. I'll probably add some cool noises right in here. Some portal noises, I guess, whatever that may be. I'm probably going to delete this side and make a whole new thing. I keep the same aesthetic. But I don't know about these walls. I kind of want to make it more interesting on this side because I feel like there's so much on the other side. I want to make this side a little bit better. With our riot shields on here, we got some health packs, and we got our big old cooling tubes and the water down there. And if you look up, we got some fans with knife blades, of course. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, there's a bunch of mechs over here. And some guy decided to shoot through the wall down there with the rail gun. This is where the second portal is going to be for the alien side. So I'm not too sure where I'm going to put it. But yeah, aliens will be able to come down and attack from this side as well. The key factors for me is to always have a place to creep up on a camper. Honestly, it is always the worst where one side is more OP. Like if you spawn into a game, you're like, oh man, I got this side. That's the worst side. And I hate that feeling, whether you're playing Call of Duty or Battlefield. I always feel like I have that spot where I'm like, dang it, I spawned on this side. So I really like to pay attention to making it easy to navigate the map and make it so no matter where you are, it's easy to get from A to B and without having some guy lying down on the floor just shooting your feet, or someone in like on Shotgun City or Shotgun City before that air vent was there, it was just a little sniper tower, and there was only like one way of getting up there, and I was like, oh, that's not good. So I built the little thing there. So it's always good to have a spot where the map just flows perfectly. That is my all-time pet peeve when it comes about building a map. I built it right here, and I had to make this structure cage over here, just kind of making how big do I want it. So I started off with a square, and then I used the outliner tool to make, or is the outliner tool? Yeah, where you select that. Oh, there it is. Yeah, and make a circle, and then I kind of make a circle around that, and then with this guy right here, I add in some corner pieces and start tracing it and making it into a nice flush circle, and then I still keep the cage right in the middle. But that is the best way to keep your math in line. There's been so many times where I forgot to build a cage and all of it was off. So I recommend making sure you build a plus or a box, because that always helps you out. So this is a map called Odyssey that I'm working on. It's going to be a space RP map where you try to survive in space and fix up the ship and take out some aliens. And yeah, let me go ahead and show you around. Little attack helicopter from Shotgun. This is the lobby Yeah, this is kind of like where you hang out. Like there used to be chairs and guns set up, and I clipped those out and I put them all together, and it made this cool space hallway, and that kind of gave me the inspiration. Then I kind of branched off over here, made some of this like health bay. You kind of walk in and you know give yourself some health. I just started off thinking I do want to make a space RP map. And this is going to be the first lower deck level where kind of more maintenance under deck where you know, you have the shipment containers, like you have a gun right here, and you could grab that. And we actually also have the shipment containers above your head and a room full of tanks down here. And this will take you up to the room where there's going to be spaceships and stuff. But yeah, you could either climb up here or you could go down lower. I like lower because you get the nice, you know, rays coming through the walkway right above you. So aliens have taken over the ship. You are a crew that is in cryo sleep. So I'm going to build a room full of cryopods where everyone's going to wake up. And they learn that the ship is completely overrun. There's nobody in the ship anymore. It's just aliens. So you have to fix a lot of parts of the ship. Make sure that everything's running. You got to storm the captain's quarters and the bridge. So you could take hold, turn on the power. All while you're doing that, you learn that there's a piece off the ship that is missing to start the warp drive to be able to get back to home to your planet. And the only way to get it is you see that there's another space station drifting in space right across from you. But here's the catch. That space station has players on it too that have the exact same mission as you do. So they have the same thing. They have to go to you thinking that you have the warp drive or a specific piece. I think I'll make it so you have what they need and they have what you need. So either you work together or you take what they have and leave without them. Like you're going to find stuff all across the map that look like this, like broken, like flickering lights. So you'll fix stuff over here. This goes to what planet you are next to. It's a server room. Yeah, you can look down, look up. This
This is
is
like
hard to
Endor.
build.
This is like
Yep.
this is like the Endor moon or so. Like yeah,
That's what I got it from.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I got this inspiration definitely from Star Wars, 100%. I mean, that's probably the first thing that you think of when you see this. I mean, you got like the shiny walls to these light up panels, total Death Star, you know, vibes. And then I definitely kind of wanted to put my own spin on it, so I put these little server things on there so people didn't think I just took it from Star Wars. But I mean, come on, it's Star Wars. I mean, even these hallways right here, that's taken from the Millennium Falcon. I wanted to stray away from having it be too industrial out there, and I wanted to have it more, you know, have a home feel or more of a space home's quarters or something. So at each one of these little bays, I'm going to have the Millennium Falcon hallways. But yeah, everything is absolutely Star Wars influenced. I mean, how could you not want to have Star Wars influence on a space map? Well, this next map is called Cargo. This is before Micro Bricks. We totally had the Lego vibe about it. As you could probably see, this forklift right here, very Lego. Yeah, this is definitely a team deathmatch or honestly capture flag, whatever you want it to be. But there's a lot of stuff. There is a oh man, there's so much stuff about it. I don't even know where to start. Let's actually go right back over to the middle. There is a top and bottom. So as you see, the floor caved in right here. There is actually a sewer system that you could go down in. So rather than just fighting all on top, and it's hard. Oh man, there's loud music playing over there. Let's go over here. Rather than just having a tug of war up on top, I again like to get rid of camping. So I have both sides. You're able to go underneath. So if they're kind of tug of war meeting in the middle, you can actually sneak over to that side if you're playing like a conquest. And This leads into a water treatment power plant in this room. Very white, very power planty, on however you want to say it. So we got a train tunnel where a train has derailed over here and busted through the wall, kind of another place to take some cover or just a spawn area. And you can move through here. Lots of places to hide, places to cover while you shoot. And yeah, then right over here we have the first entrance to this factory where it's just kind of a place where they load what do you call it, pallets and boxes on trains and stuff, and then another place that takes you to a garage and some elevators that you could go in and go upwards. We got this guy right over here, kind of a garage area. This place isn't done. I don't know if I'm gonna make more. I was making this map into like a battle royale, just make a full-fledged thing. So I think I might just make this as an Easter egg. You could kind of just look through the window and see that there's more stuff going on. That'll probably be a map, honestly. I just got to optimize the map a little bit more so the performance runs best on everyone's PC. I got a little storage unit in here. And so nobody camps in here. We got a broken wall right in there. And then we got a broken wall right in here. There is, and if you could do it, a secret room. I love adding secret rooms on every one of my maps. And that's how you get your good old trusty steed right there. Oh yeah. Far Cry, it literally takes the Unreal Engine and gives you the actual like engine that you could build maps with. Like how do I explain it? It's the full sandbox that you get to play with. You get unlimited tools. You get all Ubisoft games. So, like, you could grab Watchdog games. You could grab Far Cry games. You could grab, Splinter Cell games or anything by Ubisoft. You can grab assets and make things out of it. And it starts off with just a checkered board floor and a little plus in the middle, and you just kind of go from there. I started off making scary games on there because I like spooky stuff, and I'll probably start making spooky stuff on here. But yeah, it's just Far Cry is something that you should definitely check out if you're starting off building, because it does teach you how to use the Unreal Engine, which is definitely good for future. The Xbox version from the PC version is super different. So I had to learn how to do so many different techniques and building, and when I got a computer it opened up just a whole new way of building. So I get better every day. I mean, we could check out outside the map over here, because you were originally supposed to go on the roof and run around, but the frame rate is starting to get a little shitty, so I thought I'd kind of optimize the map and make it a little bit better. But I love the visuals out here. I want to definitely make this a part of the map, or just an Easter egg where you're like, oh, no way, that's cargo right there. This next map behind me is called the Boulevard Drive-In Theater, or for short, I just named it Drive-In. But yeah, this is going to be a spooky map. There is going to be exactly played like Michael Myers. There's going to be a killer that roams throughout here, and you're supposed to hide, or an alien, or whatever you want it to be. But yeah, there is a lot of little hidden things about the map. They're not there at the moment because this is my work in progress at the moment, but I want it to be very creepy and very dark, and have a good, fun... Oh man, I am like dragging this on. Let's just go check it out. We got a car. This is actually my car in real life. We got our drive-in. There's no cars because that's the only car I've ever really made other than sci-fi ones. So yeah, if you build cars, I will take them and put them on here. I have other people's builds from one of the things. Just I wanted to see what it would look like to have more cars in it. It's a work in progress at the moment. Just got the bare bones. I'm probably going to change it up because when I first started making this, it was not I don't think I had micro bricks. So yeah, the street lamps aren't made out of micro bricks, and I have better looking ones. And then when they did come out, I came and dabbled in it and put this thing in the middle and got that right over there. Then I have this crashed truck over here, crashed through the thing and plowed into a tree.
I'd like to hear about your game development story, if you could tell me about that.
It all started off just building, probably everyone's first building game, probably Minecraft, around there, or that other building block game, I forget what it's called, Roblox, I think. Yeah. And then I never got around to playing Roblox, but I was more of a Minecraft guy. Then I moved on to Halo, Forge, and what's another good building game? Then Far Cry. Then honestly, that sucks that there's so few of them. I was really into drawing and art, and I'm really good at drawing scenery like trees and landscapes and cities. So I really wanted to put that into the virtual world and building video games on that. But yeah, all my stuff on Brickadia is the first time people have actually really noticed my builds and really started reaching out to me, which is really awesome. I've had a couple of people ask me to be on some project and help them out, which I'm definitely always here for. But yeah, I think it's really cool to have people see things and reach out to you. I remember on when I used to play Far Cry, I used to get a lot of stars. Like it was like labeled, 1 star to 5, and I would almost get up to 5. And I was always a popular map up there, and it made me feel really good. But the fact that people are reaching out to me now is really cool. It kind of makes me feel like, wow, you're actually making it. You're making builds that people enjoy. They want to play on it. So I'm definitely wanting to be a 3D environmentalist artist for video games, whether it's commercials or video games or whatnot. That is definitely the thing that I want to go into. Cool. So this is another map that I was working on. It used to be a city RP. I don't know whether we're going to keep working on it or not. I hope so, because I feel like that would be really cool. But this is a mid-century modern building that I made, and I'd love to check it out with you. Come on in. This is where the person would be sitting behind the desk, and you'll go into the big room. There'll be serial numbers, or would be serial numbers on the furniture. You would then take that to here, tell them what you want, and then we would give it to you, and you could put it in your house. Right over here, we'll start in this second room. So I was just kind of making some mid-century looking furniture over here. Kind of have a little studio where you would take a picture of the new item that comes in, and so the first floor would just be all the builds that I kind of create. And the top floor, I would have builds that players would make, and they would get a cut of the points if anybody else bought it. So I mean, I don't think there's anything up there at the moment. I think I just use it as a storage. Yeah, it's just storage. But yeah, you'll be able to get a bunch of space for other players to make their own builds, and people could come in and buy it and put it in their house. Honestly, it's been the greatest experience, man. I love Brickadia so much. It's given me such a platform to meet other people who love building as much as I do. And it's the first time I've ever had people reach out to me for builds. So the community is small at the moment, but I know it could be huge. And it's just going to be a bunch of people, having so much fun building and playing games together. I don't want anybody to be like, oh man, hey, that's my build. Just be like, I want you to understand I love it, and that's why I'm using it. I want people to just come together as a community of just builders and just say, hey, I got something, I would love for you to have it. Here you go, use it in your build, because I know that in the future we'll be able to make some crazy amazing things. I'm just looking forward to being able to fly or fly planes and drive vehicles and stuff, and they said that's coming in the future. And honestly, I'm looking forward to this coming out on consoles too. I see this being bigger and just being on everything. I see it being honestly as big as Minecraft, just a uh, a game where everybody just comes together and makes their own game out of a game, which is really awesome. I just love it. Just keep on building. Seriously, don't stop. I mean, everybody every day is looking for something new to do. So let's make that your next build is the thing to do. You'll be the next topic. Keep building.
Hey, I'm Base4, and I have built a number of things, including a rocket jump course, made a minigame server, and even built a puzzle game and some DM maps. There's a lot of things that I've done. But perhaps we should start at the beginning with this. This is a rocket jumper course that I started right when I began playing Brickadia. From the very first day that I started playing in multiplayer servers instead of just like weird single player shenanigans, I had started making this course. And over the course of many, many months, it has developed into what you see here. Now, of course, the aesthetic of the original course was very much different. You might be able to see it in the distance over there. It's very simple, actually. Very much white and gray and orange. But this little piece here was built by what was it? Who was it? Sea Chameleon. It was Sea Chameleon who helped out a ton with the early parts of this course. Sea did an amazing job at sprucing up these platforms, which were just bland, resized bricks that you were jumping on, and turned them into a really unique style with like these scaffolded platforms and this like really cool looking pillar. We didn't do it for the whole course. That was originally sort of the plan, kinda, but it just never like came to fruition. But that's all right. This was the start of some funny collaboration stuff. I think I built pieces of this and then someone else put together the rest, and it was just like a little lunch break that you would have in the middle of doing the course, because the course was like absurdly difficult. And it's not like it's absurdly difficult. It's just by most standards, oh, I'm bad. By most standards, this course it's difficult. It's not a cakewalk. You have to actually improve over time and learn quite a bit in order to master its mechanics, because rocket jumping is a janky, strange thing. Here's one of my favorite pieces of the course here, the Triangle of Doom. It's not a ramp of doom. It's not a wedge of doom. It's a triangle. It's a triangle. A right triangle, in fact. And I called it the Triangle of Doom because everyone who came upon it in A4 in the early days would just completely flub it, because it is kind of a weird, unexpected jump that pops out of nowhere. So I started this map about... in terms of a specific time, it was about... it would be April of last year. That's when it was. Around April 11th, in fact, I think. So, as I was talking about earlier, I wanted to show this off too. This is where the collaboration really starts to kick in the early days. There was the little lunch break earlier, and this is like the barbecue. So, you get a barbecue for making it most of the way through the course. This is around 2/3, a half. No, 2/3. Okay, so the time that I have right here, says that the world record is 1 minute and 39 seconds by stats, using some absolutely extraordinary skips. So this is near the start of the course right here, and then over there in the distance you can see the tower TM, which is the end of the course basically. It's the final exam. You can skip from here, the start, all the way to the end, using a very simple jump. It's actually extraordinarily complicated. Kind of a pain in the ass to pull off. Yeah, you get on here, you pogo off here, and then you're able to just barely land on this platform. And then from there, you can just complete the game real fast. So as I was saying, the course has a number of different tricks and weird stuff to it, like those. I mean, I have terms for all this stuff, like a first thing that we did over there, where I sort of boost off the wall, is called a boost jump, hilariously. Not hilariously, appropriately. That's a corner jump, appropriately. This is a wall jump. That's not a wall jump. That's not a wall jump either. That's a wall jump. One of the jumps I got asked to do the most is coming right up here, and I'm just going to fly in here real quick. This jump right here is a pain in the ass for new players to learn, because you have to do like 2 things that you already learned at the same time. It's actually deceptively precise to be able to pull something off like that, because a slight deviation from the angle that you're supposed to have, like for example this, can have you flying off in the wrong direction quite fast. But that's how I familiarize myself. It's basically by doing the jumps, making sure they're possible by doing them myself, and then just going over and over and over and over again as people ask for me to do the jumps myself to show them. Hardest part of this is just making sure that we can get... Oh yeah, that's good. It's just making sure that we can get the first jump there. I'll tell you something real quick. Most important part of rocket jumping is, hilariously, not the second part of the jump, but always the first. If you don't jump in time, you just get that. But if you do, you get that, which is like twice as high. So there's also other collaboration pieces in this course besides the 2, like the lunch and the barbecue and whatnot. This is the other piece of collaboration, the ending area, the ending party, in fact. We have TVs contributed by people, a table, couches, an entire dance floor, balloons, those strings of lights, stereo, a duck DJ, duck, duck, goose. Some of this over here was built by me, some of it wasn't. The cooler was built by me. There's a car, contributed by car, a whole original car, built just for this. And this is what that rocket jump course spawned. There we go. The server, when you look down into it, sort of makes the rocket jump course on its own because it's so colorful and there's so much to look at. It's so visually interesting because it's so dense. There's so many builds here. You could fly around for an hour, 2 hours, just looking at builds. Because this is one of the only free build servers, even though it's a minigame server, it's still a free build server. It's the only one that I know of that just never reset its map. I never reset my map because I didn't want anybody's stuff to get deleted, and the server had a history with the way that it was built. The rocket jump courses spawned things around them, and contributions were placed in specific areas depending on where other things were, and the way that it all comes together with its location as well as the builds themselves. All of that's really important and interesting in its own right. So this is the Roblox headquarters that Dill Pickle built a long time ago. Can't really remember when it was. And then tons of stuff spawned around it. Dill Pickle built the original green island that we see here, and then people started building on the green island, assuming that it was public space. You can see a TARDIS over here, some houses, various types, an entire little beach with a nice little, what do you call this thing? Bar? Yeah, bar, that's right. I think it's kind of like a bar, a lounge, something like that. There's what's this thing in the NES? Rob, yeah, Rob the robot's here. There's a giant half-finished statue, a giant actually finished statue. I just love how that looks. There's multiple towers over here, a road that I started building, more towers, more houses, more stuff here. It's something over there. There's a lot of things, and they spawned on this island because of what came first, and I think that that's important to note. And deleting the server and all the builds that were on it would destroy some of that beautiful history. So I never reset the map. If we go down and explore the spawn, it's just a really nice sight to see. I reorganized the spawn eventually so that everything would be in a nice, orderly fashion. We have like we have a Brickers sign. Over here, we have some gamers gaming. The BL default palette, which has been color corrected. Disgraceful. Toad here. the guide from Terraria, a Pokemon whose name I can't remember, a cursor, Ness, right? Oh, I might as well walk you through something like for like a good 10 seconds because I think this is a cool build. Back in A4, I thought, why don't I try to do something fun with like portals or something? And then I did something fun with like portals or something. So check this out here, run through this exactly like this. You start looping through the room and it's a perfect illusion and it's amazing. So the reason that I make obbies in the first place is, well, it has a lot to do probably with the fact that I played a lot when I was a kid in Roblox, of all places, and they weren't really that good. Something I started thinking about right as I was building the rocket jump course, right as I started, was I should make this good. I should make this fun. Like, it wasn't the same as every other thing that you played before, all the millions of Roblox obbies with 1,000 level Roblox obby, but every level's the same. Like, I don't want to play that. If I don't want to play it, then I'm not going to build it. Maybe it's a way so that I have something to do with my time. Maybe it's so that I can do something that I feel like is important. When I'm building an obby, one of the first things I'm considering is, what is the player experience going to look like? What is the player going to know? How are they going to feel? You have to put yourself in the eyes of a random generic player with a very average or slightly below average skill set, and define average as like, oh, your starting point. Like, when somebody starts playing this, how good are they going to be? Do we know how good they're going to be? Probably not, but you can plan around that. And generally, you want to start with the lowest possible level. You want to teach people things. You want to consider how a player is going to feel, what they're going to know, and like what they could possibly think about the things that you're presenting to them. Player frustration is another factor that I consider really consistently when I'm building things. I have to consider, is this going to be frustrating to the player? Is this going to be fun for the player? When a player encounters a test of consistency, which is to say doing 10 jumps in a row and saying, do all of them in a row, and then you can go, rather than do one extremely difficult jump and then you can go. Right? One of those things is rewarding because you do it once and it's a feeling of great success. You did it. You made it through, and you never have to do it again because you made it. And the other one's like, oh, you did 9 of them but not 10? Yeah, you didn't do it. And that one of those is frustrating and one of those is rewarding. Is this the wrong color? That's the wrong color. Nobody saw that. These are some of the jumps coming up at the end of the expert course, and they are my favorite jumps out of most things in the entire set of courses here, because they're just so like freaky and like weird like that. And this one is even freakier. This is genuinely like Freaky Friday sort of stuff, the way you combine things together here. When I say Freaky Friday, I don't mean like an actual reference. I mean just like it's freaky how you can do that and go around 2 different walls in succession and still manage to make it. So this is one of the special courses that I did. The special courses themselves sort of started as an attempt by me to branch out into different kinds of building. Because for the longest time, my style has been that. White and blocky with some orange dabbled in there. But then I thought to myself, yeah, that's ugly. Really ugly. Like, not like ugly, but I mean, like, it's hard to, like, continue looking at and say, oh, like, that's a good style. I like that a lot. And I'll build everything that I ever build using that style. No, of course not. Like this, though, this is a good style. It's colorful, it's interesting, it's nicely rounded, it's got a lot of cool shapes in it, and it's a nice reference to, I don't know, can you guess what it's a reference to? The maps themselves never got used for that purpose because the tournament never really went anywhere. What happened was that I got together a bunch of people, like a good number, 15 or so it was at one point, maybe 16, and then like 6 or 7 of them dropped out. There were so many dropouts I could only host one of the races, we only got 3 people on these maps. It was a major disappointment to me. I spent a long time on these, and I really wanted them to be something special, but they never really went anywhere. But now I'm putting them up just as regular Rocket Gym courses, and in the future, when we get enough features, I can make them automated races that anyone can play. Oh, and you know what? Let me tell you, I love Galga. I used to play it all the time when I was a kid. I had the Namco Museum for the PS2. I would play Galga on it all the time, and there was this other game on it that was like Galga. It was like Galga Advanced or something like that. I don't really know. What do you mean the build behind me? No. All these used to be in separate places, but nowadays they're all hosted together in one server. I thought that would be nice, not having them in completely different saves on my hard drive, just sitting around collecting dust, or in the BRS gallery where nobody downloads them and nobody uses them. Not that I know that for sure, but that I haven't heard of anyone explicitly downloading the course from the BRS gallery. The minigame server spawned from the Rocket Jump courses, primarily as a result of the Rocket Jump courses being really popular. Just in general, people really liked them. So I decided I would do other things too. DM maps. I did DM maps. That's about all I did for a while. I really wanted to do deathmatch maps because deathmatch is cool. I don't know what else to say. It's fun to just, kill people. The map itself was not the first DM project I did, but it was the first one that I'm truly proud of. There were a lot of pieces that needed to lock into place in order for this to be done, including vegetation, the boards in the walls, train tracks, the train station, the rocks, and of course the sheriff's department. That took a while. And honestly, this was a really great success. I really like how the map turned out in the end. The theme is really it's kind of goofy and funny. The premise of the map is basically that you've got a bunch of deputies and the no good varmints are invading your town and you need to stop them. And that's the whole premise, really. That's all you really need in order to have a good map and a good time. You just need it to look good, play really well, and have some sort of thing holding it together, either a theme or a story about no good varmints. The very first day that I was constructing this, I was like, I need a costume for this. Genuinely, I have a costume for everything. This map was conceived when I looked at DM maps around Brickadia, and I thought to myself, hold on, where's the really wacky maps? Where are they? I wanted to do something really wacky and out of the box. And so I thought, okay, what game can I take inspiration from? And TF2 came to mind right away. And I remembered and thought to myself, oh, wasn't it that Vaporwave map? Oh, Vaporwave map. We're making a Vaporwave map. And that's how it happened. That's the whole story. I started up the server one day with this cool environmental preset and the idea that I would build a DM map with Vaporwave assets and whatnot, and have just a general Vaporwavy, synthwavy theme. And then people started coming in and they started helping out because I thought that it was a cool idea. Then next came the synthwave room in the back, from which I actually took inspiration for that one from my desktop background, which was the synthwave mountains thing with the sunset and the mountains are coming towards you, and you know the story. Everyone's seen it. And then finally the third area came to fruition, the windows area, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I just kind of put down some colors at first, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. And then it hit me, what if I turn the walls into windows? What if I turn them into windows and give them little X's, as if you could close the walls, like they were text boxes or confirmation prompts. So this is King Clippy. I forget who contributed this, but somebody did. And we decided to make King Clippy into an Easter egg because we have Clippy somewhere else on the map. And I thought that this was so funny and like weird that I needed to put it somewhere in the map. So you can like sort of hop out of this window here into like onto the platforms, and you can hop over to King Clippy, and you can go get the gigantic impulse grenade. Here, let me just go show you. Like, I needed to have some sort of reward for coming back here, otherwise nobody would ever do it. So I just decided I would put something that was both useless and hilarious. The gigantic impulse grenades. So one of the interesting ideas I had originally for the map was that it would use terrible weapons, because if there were any good weapons in the map, then you'd just be able to sort of like overwhelm your enemies with superior firepower you picked up elsewhere in the map, so that like anyone who came out of spawn would be at a major disadvantage, regardless of like how good they were, because you just had a better weapon. So I decided I would just use terrible weapons like the Derringer and scale them up a little bit so that they could have a use, and a decent use, because it's like these are guns in a map that only uses bows, but like it's not that good. Let's be honest. Eventually, I've kind of wisened up, and I've thought maybe that was a bad idea, because they're bad weapons, and it makes the weapon pickups very unattractive because they're terrible. So I mean, I was thinking maybe I could switch it over to like a micro SMG, like really micro. I do have a lot of ideas. That is true, and all of them come from slightly different places. There's a lot of things that go into being creative, I guess. One of them is that I have really severe ADHD, and it makes it hard to like think cohesively sometimes, but it can lead me into incredible realizations of thinking outside of the box in astounding ways, like combining one of my new mini games that I set up very recently. It was called Checksum. I thought that was a really nice name. The entire map is made of, like, the entire floor of the map is made of checkpoints. You can set your spawn anywhere. And that's an idea that came from another thing where I couldn't set up the races automatically. The rocket jump races, I couldn't set them up automatically, and it was because the checkpoints persist between rounds. And I thought, why don't I use that to make something? And there we go. You turn questions around. You do crazy shit that no one would ever expect that you would do in the first place. But like that, I think that's fueled by ADHD, because I jump around from things. I jump around all over the place, all the time. All sorts of different thoughts and interests and activities and different focal points, and it's hard to focus on things. But it means that when there's something that's really usual and typical, it's also hard to focus on what's usual and typical. So when it's time to be distracted by new ideas, I can jump at the opportunity. So this is the mirror image experiment. It's my original puzzle platformer game that I've spent a really long time putting together. The game has a lot of really unique puzzles that I spent a lot of time dreaming up. One of the key features of the mirror image experiment is deception, tricks, and playing with psychology. This room number 4, is a pretty good example of that. I would say that room number 4, in fact, is the best example of that, because it is so ludicrously successful with such a simple premise. You've got 2 doors that you can go through, and, you know, the way back. But both doors that lead forward are completely useless. They're dead ends. But, of course, the room has to have an exit, because the game doesn't end here. So, from this angle, the angle that most people would take between the 2 doors, can you find the exit? The answer is no. Of course you can't. Because the exit's over here. One of the earliest things that I did in the mirror image experiment was come up with this brilliant illusion. You look around this room and it is absolutely impossible to see the exit. And that's the thing, really. It's a perfect illusion. And more than that, one of the main theses of the mirror image experiment is that illusions can be used like mechanics. For example, these shadows, which are cast by invisible bricks. Of course, the shadows themselves are nothing but an illusion. What you can achieve with bricks in Brickadia allows you to create interesting, like I said, illusions. You can sort of give players information in a form that they already understand without actually using the features of Brickadia correctly. Their mirror image experiment has a really long history. There's a lot that went into this project, and in fact, it's over a year old. Some of the earliest versions of this map did a lot of really wacky stuff, but some of the rooms that are in the final version actually retain that wacky stuff, and they're the same rooms. For example, in the earliest versions of the mirror image experiment, it was called Base4's Maze of Illusions, and it had a lot of things different about it. One of the things that was different about it is that I didn't have the ability to use the transparency slider yet, so the mirrors were a little more janky, and it was kind of hard to see through them. In the earliest versions of the map, I actually the mirrors were invisible because I didn't have access to. I didn't actually. It's not that I had. It's not that I couldn't do it. It's that I didn't think of it yet. I didn't think of doing this instead of just doing this. The earliest versions of the map were founded off the idea that I could use invisible bricks at all. And if we were to load up earlier versions of the map, we would see that there are bricks that actually aren't transparent at all because we didn't have the feature to create those willy-nilly just yet. The whole project got started when Octillery introduced me to invisible bricks back in A4, and I said, oh, I can do something cool with these. Little did I know they were not actually invisible bricks. They were just really, really transparent bricks. And in A5, they get converted to this. You know, like a month, 2 months after I got my hands on real invisible bricks, I still hadn't found all of these. If you look to your up here, you can see a pretty good example of how time sort of destroyed some of the older versions of this. See, this used to use ghost bricks, like these kind of ghosts. And those were what those looked like. But the ghost brick material was removed, and so now it's just kind of ugly squares. In the mirror image experiment, I wish I could have used ghost bricks because they looked awesome. But no, the material was removed. So now we're stuck with this or holograms. Oh boy. What happened here? Oh, wait, invisible bricks, of course. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Honestly, this is what I'm talking about when I say that the earliest versions of the mirror image experiment were, oh my god, they were so jank. This is what the main mechanic of the old version of the game was. It was that you could pass through the mirrors, not just like be a part of them, or like be a part of one of the sides and use the reflection and whatnot for whatever. No, you could really pass through the mirror, and that would be used for puzzles. We have all sorts of like wacky stuff that I did with the mechanics and with just general weird stuff I could pull off. This is another one that uses the mirrors in a really strange and interesting way, since it's a ceiling mirror and you reflect things from top to bottom again, and it's really complicated. This map was made primarily by discarding the things that didn't work. Like, you can see this big course here. When I moved to the next version of the game, this is what happened. Basically that. Rooms 13 and 14 have like a really rich history of all sorts of changes and modifications to them in order to make them the optimal experience that they could be. Some of the original versions of Room 13 had a lot more difficult parkour in them, and they ended up somewhere around here in the same way. You came in from a different side though and whatnot, and you'd walk in here and you'd see whatever, and then here's what would happen, right? This, of course, is fake. That's not real. so you can pass through it. What used to be the case was that I had it like this. I had a 1 here instead. You didn't have to crouch under it. And so I came up with this crazy system because people would just keep doing this. They would keep like, oh, let me just test the walls, and oh, I did it. So I had to come up with a crazy ingenious system in order to keep them from doing that. What I came up with is little micro bricks that you would place on the sides here. They look a lot like basically the map had invisible bricks that I never told the players about. Right here, right there, and they would stop you from being able to get in easily. Here was the solution I came up with. Right, it was the red stain. Beforehand, it used to be just like a discolored wall. People wouldn't notice that. They couldn't notice the wall. So I had to add like a red splotch there in order to allow people to better, like, to make it stand out that there was something clearly wrong on the other side of the mirror. And here's the thing, I built the room specifically for the purpose of having the player do this. Plant their face on the wall, guess, not find it, look around, get a little confused, walk backward, and see the solution. So 17 is like the extension of an earlier room concept that I had. I would have an invisible, like a maze on the ceiling, and also like kind of high up. There was a mirror. Okay, there was a mirror on the ceiling that revealed the Vanta Black maze that was around you. The way that it did it is that it contrasted the tops of the pieces of the maze and whatnot. And then you had to look through the maze in order to find out where the exit was, because it was hidden, and you had to jump, and oh my god, it was a mess. And I decided I would make it way simpler. I simplified the process. We're going straight for it. We're using the Vanta Black bricks it's just a mirrored room. Okay, that's all it is. And the mirrored room just lights it up. 19 is the most ridiculously difficult room to make in the game. I mean, first of all, just stand in the corner, do the thing, and like that, no, not that corner. You know the one. The jumping up into that thing. And you can already see how this room may have been difficult to make. Just like possibly. Maybe. It's entirely possible. But really, this room was a nightmare. Because people would keep doing this. And like, I couldn't get the idea across properly. They would keep doing this. Nope. No. People wouldn't stand still in the corner for long enough in order to notice it. So I started installing interesting details, like, for example, you could see how this block here lines up with this block here. And if you stand in the corner there, you could see how it sort of just like slips into place. That was a detail I added so that it would be easier to notice. That wasn't good enough, so I had to add this roof to stop people from jumping. And when they were no longer jumping, then it was a lot easier for them to see the illusion. Because people would also do this. Sometimes there are rooms where it's easier to guess than it is to solve the puzzle, and I have to design around that. 20 is designed with so much specific intent into forcing you to solve the puzzle. It plants the idea in the player's head of, what's the room number again? 20? Wait, 20's a word. Why are there question marks on the wall? And then you start to logically process, oh, wait, hold on. And when I put those two details together, along with some changes to the tiles here, and some removals of some weird, awkward details in the corner, I suddenly noticed new behavior emerging, and it was the coolest thing. And I designed around that behavior too. So here, check this out. Here's what happens for most players now. Rather than trying to guess that it's 20, what they do is they see the numbers on the wall. Then they see that they can spell, sometimes they see they can spell 20, other times they don't. But what they do then is they go back to the previous room and they jump to verify the previous room was 19. And oh my god, that's very creative thinking on the player's part. I did not anticipate that at all. Because otherwise you'll guess it in like 30 seconds. All you have to do is guess over and over again on each of the 6 rows, and eventually, quite fast in fact, you'll be able to get the right answer. The answer, of course, being 20. Okay, so basically 21 was a room that a lot of people got really confused on, because it used to look a lot like this. Here, in fact, the bricks are still in exactly the right place, that I can just kind of recreate what it looked like. That's what it looked like before. Here's the thing. I was able to deduce that the reason that this room was going so poorly was because this kind of looks like it should be that, but that this is in the way. You see this bar? It looks like this bar is obscuring part of this rectangle, and oh my god, that confused so many people. At least that's my thought. I couldn't figure out that the cross section between, like, see, the big puzzle thing here is that there's 2 shadows, so you have to sort of intersect the shadows. People couldn't figure that out because of this shadow misleading them constantly. As soon as I changed the shadow, though, way more people got it. Honing my building skills, I mean, it's a heck of a question. I mean, it's kind of like, it's also like loaded in the sense, like, where did you get good at building? Because you're good at building. That's how it's loaded. But it's also got an interesting answer. Interesting in that it's uninteresting. I practice. That's what happened. I practiced. I built the rocket jumper course. I built the DM maps. Then I started building the mirror image experiment. And I started doing all sorts of new techniques and ideas and ways of conferring the aesthetic that I wanted it to go for. As a builder, my future plans revolve around 2 things. First one is, just trying to find more things to do in Alpha 5 Patch 4. And then when Wires come out, I'm going to make a co-op puzzle parkour map where 2 players have to work together like Portal 2 co-op in order to solve puzzles. And past that, with behaviors, the only ideas that I really have right now, the only good ideas I really have right now, are ones that involve movement and momentum mechanics, and I don't know if those are going to be possible. If they are possible, I have an endless supply of ideas for movement mechanic-based games. So the game, I built it before a certain game. Superliminal! Oh, that was the one that was discussed. Yeah, no, I built this before I even played Superliminal. Not like built the whole thing, but I built most of the test chambers before I played Superliminal, and I gotta keep stating this. The illusion after Puzzle 10 in the hallway is not inspired by Superliminal. I really need to get that across. I made that before I played Superliminal. I know that something like that is in Superliminal. Don't start. I know. This entire thing has no inspiration from Superliminal. It's all Portal and Antichamber. Antichamber was was a favorite game of mine. I just love Antichamber. It's a great game. It has a lot of really nice concepts, really good puzzles, and really good atmosphere to it. But most importantly, it has some really nice ways of screwing with you. And I took my idea of screwing with people from Antichamber. Okay, Minesweeper is the most storied room in this entire game. Like, shockingly, it is the most storied room. It has the biggest, longest story. It started out in the original version of the map. We had the Minesweeper puzzle that looked almost identical to this. Very close. And I had the idea, where the mines are, let's just put platforms there. Done. Pretty easy concept. Pretty hard puzzle. People didn't get it because they didn't know how to do Minesweeper. So I removed it. But then I put it off to the side. And now here's an interesting story. Sea Chameleon played the map. And then I showed Sea Chameleon some unfinished chambers, or some chambers that didn't link up right, or it didn't link up with the map yet because there were the chambers that I was going to put between them. They weren't there yet. So, like, I showed C19 and 20 and 22, and then I showed him the Minesweeper room because I kept it because it was really cool. And C was like, "Oh my god, this is so great," and like jumped on the idea of rebuilding the whole room in their style. And I was like, "All right, let's do it." Shit. And this is how it turned out. And oh my god, it's amazing. All right, so I just wanted to mention this. The map has secret ducks. There are 7 of them. Here's 2 for free. Yes, to you, the viewer, for free. Can you find all 7? Seriously, I'm asking, because not many people can. Well, I mean, Brickadia means a lot of things to me. The first thing that it means is it's an engine for expression. And not a game engine for expression. An engine, as in it drives expression. It's somewhere where you can express ideas freely and creatively in very interesting and varied ways. It's an environment dedicated to that, kind of like Gmod, but more permanent and with a lot more scale that you can do things on. Instead of having a 200 prop limit or something where the server basically crashes, you could put millions of bricks and still not be done. So that's the first thing it means to me, but more than that, it also means, I mean, during the pandemic, it's what it meant, like what I just do in general with my days. Because I don't really have the luxury of having anything else to do, regardless of trying to find a job and whatnot. I still don't have one. I have nothing to do. It's summer. I'm between school semesters. There's nothing else to do. So I just get on Brickadia and I use that as like my new. This is how I spend my days. I do something meaningful here. I make games. Brickadia is where I sort of like live because I have to. Because there's nowhere else to go, really. But it's not bad though, by any means. I prefer this over other things because in real life, video game creation is a lot more difficult. But in Brickadia, I can express myself in mere hours.